Does your gym footage look like this? Instead of this, or maybe even this? Then no worries, because in this video I will show you how you can correct that. And by the way, don't worry if you don't have a professional camera, as the same shot was made on an iPhone 14. Before beginning the video and explain to you how you can actually film those amazing videos, you need to get a tripod. Without it, you won't be able to film shit, so just get one, a cheap one, off of Amazon, whatever you want. But you need a tripod. The most important thing actually is not the camera, it's not your skills, it's actually what are you filming. The angle and the set is as important as anything else. Like, for example, right now, the angle is pure shit, so it looks really bad. No matter if I color correct it, if I expose it correctly, the angle is shit. There's nothing interesting. This side is too dark, this side is too bright, and it doesn't make any sense to film this. For instance, here's an example of a bad angle, and here's an example of a good one. You see that the light hits me evenly and you can see me clearly, and I'm in focus, so that's what you want to achieve. Now actually let's go over the camera settings. If you have a professional camera, then probably I don't need to explain to you how you can actually put the options, but generally you don't want to keep this number right here, the exposure, between -1 and +1 depending on the white that you want to achieve. For instance, I usually put between -1 and -0.7 because I try to achieve a darker gym vibe. Now, if you have an iPhone, I would recommend getting the Blackmagic app, and what it lets you do is it lets you adjust everything, like the shutter speed, ISO, but whatever. If you want to just film casually, what you want to do is just tap here and it will auto exposure it correctly. If you want a darker gym vibe, just put the ISO somewhere around 100 or 200, really depends. Just experiment with the settings and make sure you like what you are seeing before recording.
Now that we have our clips recorded comes the most fun part, at least for me, and that is video editing. So I will be using Premiere Pro for this because I like it, it gives professional results. But if you don't have Premiere, just use DaVinci or CapCut or whatever you can. It's fine, but I'm just gonna say that if you have a professional editing software, it will give you a lot more of a professional result. So what I use is basically Lumetri Color. In Effects, I can search up for Lumetri Color and drag it here. That's it. Here's what we are gonna be editing. My first clip, just me, lifting 80 kilos, nothing special, and let's make it look more cinematic. So I begin by just cranking up the contrast a little bit, and I like it because that way it looks more like professional, if I can say that. You see, the colors look more deep, and that's it. And also I go into curves and I have a RGB curve, and it's basically also contrast. I create a kind of an S right here and kinda does that, just adds a little bit of contrast. Now I go into creative and I see if the colors I like them. And for this clip I actually like them, but I'm gonna experiment a little bit. I'm gonna crank up vibrance just a tiny bit. I'm gonna put it at 20, I think. So as for now, what we had before was this, and what we have now is this. Now if we want to, we can also change the temperature. We don't like the warm, temperature. We can just make it colder or even warmer. Let's make it colder for this video just to experiment. I'm gonna leave it at -15, and it's more of a cold look now. You can see it. And tint is just making it a little bit more green or rose filtered, so I'm gonna make it more green to give it that, underground light, I don't know, style, like Fight Club or something. I'm gonna leave it at -10, I mean, yeah. And I can see the before and after, and as for now I like it, so I'm gonna keep going. If I don't want some colors present, then I use hue versus saturation, and basically what it does is grab a color. For example, I don't want my acne to show as much. What I can do is reduce the saturation of, you know, red. And another thing that I like to edit very much is color wheel. And what this does is basically you have your shadows, midtones, and highlights. And basically now what you can do is alter the color of the highlights, shadows, and midtones, also the brightness. So imagine that I want to make highlights more like, you know, warm. Then I can rank them up right here, and I can also, if I want to make them brighter. And shadows, imagine I want to make them more bluish, to have that like not perfect black look, you know. And I can crank them up a little bit down here, and then go ahead and decrease them a little bit so they are more deep. And yeah, that's it. So this is a very experimental and easy, you know, edit, but what we have at the beginning was basically this, you know, just gym footage. It doesn't look bad, but it looks okay. And at the end we'll have this, which is more like, which is something you will like publish on your TikTok, Instagram, you know, and it looks more aesthetic. So now you know how you can film your videos, edit them, and have nice and colorful cinematic videos or gym footage. And if this video did really help you, then please leave a like, sub to me, leave a comment if you like the video, and just thank you for watching.